Coming up in this video, I'm going to show you how to create animation in InDesign and then take it into Photoshop and create a custom optimized animated GIF from Photoshop. Hi, my name is Justin from Jar Productions. So starting out in InDesign, I'm going to show you briefly how to create the animation because we have other detailed videos on how to do it, but I just want to show you the nuts and bolts. So I have an item selected here. And the way that I create animation is with the animation panel, which is found under Window Interactive. And to actually create animation, I already have it here, but I can just hit the trash can to delete the animation that's on there. I can fly it in from right, which is what I did. It's just a preset. You can see that there. And I can change the timing of that to get it the way I want it. And then I can go in and select other items and animate them. And you can see there's a directional arrow telling me that's coming in from the right. This one comes in from the top, and on with all those. And then the timing panel, which is also found under Window Interactive, lets me arrange these. And I can add delays to each item and make sure they play in the order I want. With my animation created and my timing there, I can open the EPUB interactivity preview and hit the play button, and it lets me preview the animation while I'm still in InDesign, so I can tinker with it. And when I've got it the way I want it, I'll use In5, which is a premium add-on. Once installed, it shows up at a menu at the top, and I'm just going to use the easy export wizard. I'll choose banner ad, and then I'll choose pixel perfect text and click next. I don't really care about the name, and I'll say export now, and we'll go ahead and export my document. And then to open it, I'll just say open in default browser, and it'll play the animation once, and this is set up to be a looping animated GIF. And we can do that with the GIF Maker extension, which is an add-on to Chrome here, but we're going to take it into Photoshop in this video and actually get down into the nuts and bolts of customizing the colors and the looping and all that fun stuff. So if I want to see this again just to check and make sure everything looks good, I can hit the reload button. And then I'm going to use this Chrome add-on, the In5 Animated GIF Maker. Now normally in previous versions, this was just export a GIF, and if you're opening it for the first time, it's going to show up like this. Since we are going to take this into Photoshop, let's actually make it as an MP4. So we're going to get millions of colors into this, and then we will use Photoshop to bring down the number of colors. So I will select MP4 and just hit record. It'll open a new tab, it'll play it, it'll recognize when playback is done, and then it'll process it and create a video for us. You can see the video on screen, and then I'll just hit the save button and save it right here. And then I'll open that MP4 in Photoshop. I can just open it right up, and you can see this is a full video. It's a little blurry as it's previewing, but if I stop moving the playhead around, it's crystal clear, so don't get worried if you open it and it looks blurry. That's just Photoshop rendering frames for you. Now, to make it into an animated GIF, I'm going to go up to File and down to Export and Save for Web Legacy. I'm using an older version of Photoshop, but this is still exactly the same in 2023. Now, the first step is to go up to the preset and change it to GIF if it's not there already. One of the limitations of a GIF is the number of colors. That's even more acute in an animated GIF because it's sharing those colors across all those frames. I'll show you how we can optimize for that right here. First of all, let's go to colors and just make sure it's set to 256 because we want to be using all the colors possible. And you can see the preview that I have at the bottom will improve immediately after it renders. I'm using the 2-up so I can compare the original and the optimized version, and I can see what little glitches are there. And then I have a little set of playback controls at the bottom right here. So I'm going to click play. It'll take a little while. We also exported this as max quality, so you're gonna notice it might lag on your machine because of that, and that's okay. We're just doing the preview right now because Photoshop is rendering this on the fly. Now, the reason I'm playing through is I'm looking for things that I'd like to change. So the tree on the left looks great. It looks like the original. The text is decent. Where I'm really noticing issues where the quality doesn't look good because we have so many colors that we have to try and render in this limited color GIF are the windows at the top right and the logo. And obviously the logo is one of the most critical things in here. So one thing I might do is take the eyedropper tool over here on the left, and I'll select parts of the colors that are artifacts on the logo. So here there's two tones, if you can see it, of the orange, and where my cursor is right now, it's an orange that looks like the original. But there's also this patch here that's darker. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm just going to try trashing that color here. Delete the selected color, and then allow that to render. And what Photoshop will do is replace it with the nearest color. And so you can see now it got rid of that artifact. So now that renders much nicer. Now I can do the same thing with the window. I can decide, I really don't need all these shades on the window. I don't like this middle color, so I'll select that, and I'll trash that, and we'll give Photoshop a chance to render that. It might have made it better, might have made it worse. I don't like this color. I could basically select all of these and make this so this is one solid color. That's probably not going to bother me, but you get the idea of that. Now, deleting colors is one thing, but what if there are colors in the original that we like that aren't showing up? What we can do is go up to the original. This is why I like to have the 2 up, and I can select this color, and this doesn't appear in the color table, I believe. Let's see if I can do that. And it's still got the brown selected. So it looks like when I click here to put the optimized one in focus, that it's going to eyedrop, but it doesn't kept the brown color. I can see it up here. So that is not in the color table, so I'm going to click the new color button, add that color to the palette, and see how that affects the windows. Maybe it will make the windows a little bit nicer. And it does. Look at that. It brings the brown color in. So you can see that by deleting and adding colors, you can get rid of some of these ugly artifacts and really customize and create a nice GIF despite the limitations in terms of colors. This gives you a lot more control than the previous version that exported the GIF for you and didn't allow you to do all this. So now I only have 255 colors. If I want to max them out, I could find another brown here and get it in there. But you get the idea. And the other thing I want to be able to control here is the looping. So it is set to forever, which is great. I could set it to once. I could go into other and set the number of times. So lots of control here, and then all I have to do is click save. Now the other thing it's doing is on the bottom left here, it's giving me a preview of how big that GIF is, so I can toy around with that. You can, of course, use an online tool to further optimize it after that if you can try and make it a little lossy. The other thing I can do is that in here, the GIF is not set to be lossy at all, so I could actually do this right here and just, what if I make it 25% lossy? Let's see what that does to the size and if it affects the quality. Yeah, it's pretty grainy. I don't like it. It did shave like a third off of the size. So I can play with this and try and find a sweet spot. I can also change the dither here and see if I can get something that fits with this animated GIF just like you can with a static GIF. So those are most of the basics. The other thing I want to mention, I'm just going to cancel out of this. Of course, if I wanted to save that, I could from right there, is that I can, in the timeline inside Photoshop, if you don't see this, it's under Window, Timeline. On the flyout menu, I have options to, say, convert the frames. I can convert this to a frame animation. I could also set the timeline frame rate. So it picked up 60 from our max quality. So if I just wanted to change this to, say, 30 right now, or 15, this would drastically reduce this file size. So if I did that, you can see it'll play I got the whole animation here. If I go back up to the Save for Web dialog, set this to a GIF, and set it to 256 colors. You can see we're down to 700, less than 700K versus about twice that. There's no lossy on this. because I just canceled out of those settings. So that's considerably better. So that's another thing you can look at. You can, of course, do this when you are creating the video with the extension. You can set this to custom and change the frame right here. But setting it as max just gives you the best of all worlds. You can import it and customize it in Photoshop as you see fit. So that gives you some idea of how you can create an animated GIF with InDesign and Photoshop with the help of In5 and the In5 Animated GIF Maker. So hopefully this is a great tool for you to easily create animation without really mucking with a timeline and be able to get the custom control you want so that you can put animated GIFs on social or in email newsletters or on websites and optimize the quality as best you can with the 256 color limitation. So I hope you find this helpful. And if you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to check out our other videos. We'll have some other videos surrounding this topic. Please take a look, and I hope to see you in the next video.